Again, it comes back to the fact that everybody thinks cancer is a genetic disease, and therefore we hear about this mutation and that mutation. Most of this is irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything. And yet people are all thinking, oh, you know, my cancer has this kind of a mutation. No, it's irrelevant. Your cancer needs glucose and glutamine. Without that, it can't grow. That mutation is absolutely irrelevant for the most part. So, and we're going to target that mutation. Well, you know, some guy might do well in it, but a lot of other people aren't doing well. I can't tell you. I get hundreds of emails from cancer patients who failed all these immunotherapies and all these so-called precision things. I mean, right. You know, all I know is that cancer can't live without glucose and glutamine, and they can't burn ketones for energy. So it's because very simple. You lower glucose and glutamine, elevate the ketones, and these tumors now become compromised and they start dying. And you got to do it slowly. You don't go in and try to hit them as hard as you can, like radiation and chemo. And then they say, oh, your cancer is now resistant. Well, you didn't do it the right way, man. You don't know the biology. If you knew the biology, you'd never be doing this kind of a crazy stuff. Telling people, write articles to say that we're wrong. Now, what they do is they write articles and they say, oh, cancer cells take in oxygen better than normal cells. Therefore, Otto Warburg must be wrong. They don't understand that the oxygen in a cancer cell is made for reactive oxygen species, which cause the mutations. They don't know. This is the details of understanding the biology and biochemistry of the problem. If you understand those details, then these kinds of statements make no sense. And our experiments are designed to rule out those kinds of challenges. Yeah, well, what causes the genetic mutations are reactive oxygen species, ROS. ROS are known in the field to be carcinogenic and mutagenic. All right, mutagenic means they cause mutations. Where do the ROS come from in the cell? Comes from the damaged oxidative phosphorylation. So when the that's what Warburg said, all cancers initiate with a damaged OXPHOS. So the oxidative phosphorylation damage creates mutations indirectly from the mitochondria. Now, as the cell starts suffocating, it upregulates fermentation metabolism, which is then driven by glucose and glutamine. So glucose and glutamine are replacing the energy through oxidative phosphorylation in these fermentation. So the cell gradually collects mutations, and every cell in the tumor, anybody's tumor, has a different constellation of mutations than any other cell in the tumor. No two tumor cells can have the same constant. They're all different. So when you say, oh, my tumor, you know, has a EGF receptor mutation, some of your cells do, but not all of your cells do. Okay, and those mutations are downstream effects anyway. They're effects of the growing tumor. They're not the cause of the growing tumor. So trying to target effects is not going to get you to home plate, right? You got to go after what's keeping the cells growing, and that's fermentation, which means energy without oxygen. Cancer cells can live without oxygen.